Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to the Just Jump In live stream. Nice to have you here with me tonight. And who gets the cookie? It looks like it's Ray from Around the Layout. Welcome in, Ray. You get the virtual cookie because I don't give out real cookies because I don't share. But you definitely get the virtual one. Brad from Willow Creek, welcome in. Nice to see you in here. Hello to everybody else out there. Remember to check in and say hi. Let me know if my audio is working. Hi, Mom. Welcome in. It's like I just talked to you. Okay, so what have I been working on? Well, this I haven't been working on, but I don't know if I've showed everybody the busted up, apparently here, the final product, but this was me adding the weights and the load for the flat car. So I thought I would pull it out just to make sure everybody got a chance to see it. And then mostly this week I worked on the private car. End of last week I did some printing, and I don't know if I showed you the last print that I did of the gondola, so we'll take a look at that on there. However, I did want to start with letting you know what you see on the screen. So you see this little cup in the corner now, and you see this channel and charity goal. So with StreamYard, I didn't have any way to, there was no, I'm not monetized on YouTube. There wasn't any way to also ask for support in StreamYard. Streamlabs allows me to do that. So there's a link in the description of the live stream, and I'll see if I can put it up here, where you have the opportunity, if you want to support the live stream and support me, you can do that. The other thing I want to do with that, though, is I'm not trying to, if I make money doing the work, great, I make money doing the work. But if it just helps with the hobby, I'm happy with that. So as part of that is I want to split what I get with people's favorite charities. So I put a post on YouTube asking subscribers to tell me what their favorite charity or cause is, what they give their hours to, and that sort of thing. For instance, Gopher Girl, which I don't know if she's on yet, she volunteers at Safe Hands Rescue in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where we adopted our 2 dogs from. And she does work weekly for them. So that would be, that's somebody we want to support and that sort of thing. So I thought that if people were donating to the channel, that, I can put it back into the channel. I could get, giveaway gifts. So I did a giveaway with what little money I had to purchase some things when I got to 400 subscribers. I haven't done another giveaway since, but to do things like that takes a little bit of money. So if you're interested, that's something you could do. There's a link to, and the link will go to a screen where you can donate through PayPal. Venmo comes up, but unfortunately that option is through PayPal business account, which we don't have. So anyway, that's all I'll say about it. I'm not a salesperson. I'm not trying to just make money, but it helps the hobby. If I can bring back things to the channel, like if there are things that you want reviewed, or you want to learn how to do something and you want me to be the guinea pig to do it, that extra money will be helpful in me being able to do that. So there it is. Anyway, okay. So where was I with the gondola? So now we have 2 gondolas. Look at this. So, and some weights that are flying out. So I decided to do some next steps. The things that one of the things I was concerned about are the ladders. I was having trouble doing the ladders, and you can see when you're pulling off the supports that you have to have with 3D printing, when you have something this thin and light, it doesn't always go so well. And I still haven't been able to get the crossbars on these ladders, but that was close. It was also kind of close here, but then I couldn't get, without destroying what's here, I couldn't get the supports that print in here out. So it was unsuccessful. Had a little problem when pulling off supports there. But this is one solid car printed. We talked about how this looks all flat and it's all jagged kind of because the supports are attaching to that. And these were kind of rough as well, but that was a good try. Added the wheels to it. There's some limitation, so there'll be some radius limitation with these because the sides go down over the wheel sets, and that's like the prototype as well. Still works, but there's Gopher Girl. Hi, Gopher Girl. Anyway, so that was that one. But I wanted to improve on this detail because I knew from printing this bottom out separately, it certainly was better detail. So I asked some people and they agreed that if I printed this out in parts, there could be some things that would come out better. So basically it's the one part is the 4 sides, one part is the bottom here. I don't know if you can see the edge there, where that was printed as one. And then unfortunately you can see the line between the top and bottom part here. But the trade-off by splitting these parts is you now have the texture of the bottom. This is this you normally would use channel styrene and angle styrene. Well, those pieces now come out. So printing them separately is better. I couldn't totally get rid of that line between the 2 parts, so it might have to be rivets added. Not sure how we'll do that, but might have to have rivets added to that. The other thing I wanted to test was getting the wire in, based on the fact that I pre-drilled the hole for the brakes, and a couple things. So one of them was there was an extra hole that I did not remember to put in, because there's brake lines that go through, different brake lines that go through, and so you can maybe see this line coming from here. It's actually glued on to the bottom here, and That's one of the problems with this wheel set over here. The other one is, even with the other brass wire down here low, the wheel sets are still hitting it. So the trade-off is going to be, you probably can't see it in here, but I think I have 3.15 washers in here to raise them up, and even with them raised up, I can't move this guy here. It's that front wheel that's getting caught on this piece that comes out here. So I can't drill that much lower. So I might just have to add more structure under the wheel set to lift it up, and it may just have to be further out and not covering the wheel set with the sides. That might be the trade-off. These brake parts in here are also printed. Instead of going out and buying the cast metal ones, these printed ones, I print them in red that match this red. It's the same filament, but it's the same brake parts, and it was off of somebody else created those as part of their build, so I would consider that commercial part, and those are allowed with the brake details. But I can't tell you how much easier it was to get the wire in and the styrene pieces in through the holes there, having everything pre-drilled. So that was that. But what's either way, printing that as a whole or printing it in pieces is not that much difference in time. I think in total printing time was about 12 hours, but it's repeatable to be able to do this now with the designs in place and everything. And I can have functional cars. Well, if I don't put in brake details, I don't put in brake details for the functionality. What I'm trying to do is having a merit-worthy car with the 3D printer. Once I have that, though, if I want to print 10 of these, it's going to take 120 hours to get those printed. But nevertheless, it's still going to be cheaper than buying them commercial, and I like that idea. And I don't have a use for 10 of them, but the idea is it's there, and the idea is if I can design the cars myself, then I can save myself a little bit of money with buying cars, because and I certainly can upscale anything. Now that I know I can build cars, I know that I can detail them. If I buy cheap, I can then upscale them. I don't have to buy $100 cars. For the passenger cars, they get really expensive. For basic passenger cars, they can get up between $80 and $110 for a passenger car. And if I'm able to build them myself, I'd rather do that. But that's where I got with that, testing all that out. So still more work to do. Oh, one other thing. So frustrated with trying to get the ladders to work. I found some simple HO scale ladders that somebody else created, and so I just call it a super detail part, but I added a ladder in there and it works. It doesn't look quite like these look a little bit more like the prototype, although these arms of the ladders are a little bit flatter, I think, in the pictures of the prototype. And then it has just these 4 pieces that hold the ladder out, and then the actual rungs of the ladder. Nathan, welcome in. Hey, Nathan, I was looking back and I was seeing some of your stuff again. Are you still building locomotives for people? I think you had a Patreon page where you were doing that. And I wasn't quite able to tell if you were still doing that for folks. But that's where I'm at with that, and so I'll continue to work on that, and at some point we'll have something presentable to be evaluated. Certainly, I hope before the next convention, I hope to just have an MMR or the division or region AP chief evaluate the cars instead of waiting till May. And our convention is in northeast, I think, of Winnipeg this year, or next year, I'm sorry. And I don't know if I'll be able to make that trip or not. Still looking at the possibility there. So without that, I'll need to have things evaluated. So, okay. So what's the other project? The other project is this guy. This is the private car that I've been struggling with these directions, which aren't very good directions. So I finally have my complaints, but I soldiered on. I think 2 or 3 times I tried to figure out if I have the right ends. I believe that I have the right ends with the right things in the right place. I don't think these were supposed to go there. They didn't have the guides that these did. So I moved them off of here, because the other thing was trying to get the gate for the observation end. So I'm like, well, if I put these here, then you have a full floor. The thing I didn't understand from the directions is if you put all these gates together the way they say, it's too long or too wide for this. If you put them all together like that, it's too wide. So I got frustrated with that, and it's hard to get the right light shine on it. Let's see if there we go. So what I did was, you can see with these coming to the ends here, and here are those pieces I was supposed to put in originally with the stairs that I didn't do at first, but that gets you your floor there. So I connected that middle gate piece to the middle with a small gap in there, so it's out front. And if you look at some of these, that's where wreaths are put, or decorations are put, or signs are put. I think Pennsylvania Railroad had their shield on one of them that I looked at, so I can put something on there. But that's how I modified that. Then the rest of the time was adding their details on, and they have a diagram here. It's not as tight as this. This is just kind of a visual guide, but it looks fine. I was toying with painting it like I did the underside of the cab car. Okay, so you haven't done them for a while. Oh, good. So you're working on your layout. Okay, it's me time. You don't have to. Yeah, you can take a break from that, or you don't have to do it. I just was wondering because I thought it was neat that you were doing that for people. So that was pretty cool. So my favorite color, I is a very dark, almost black gray. It's called Panzer Dark Gray, and that's what I painted the whole bottom of the cab car. So all the parts, except for a couple that were going to be stainless steel or whatever, or aluminum. So I was thinking of going over this and painting it. Then after that, I was looking at build and following the directions. I was going in to build the wheel sets, and you could do, and they gave directions for 6 or 4, but they didn't have materials, so that you still had, if you were going to do 2 axles instead of 3 axles, they didn't provide any 2-axle trucks, so you only had the 3-axle trucks on here. Plus, they didn't, even with them dried overnight for a full day with super glue or CA, they're still very fragile. So putting the wheels into these trucks weren't obviously it didn't keep it together. So you have just this little divot in here, and then you're flexing this to get them in, and it easily came apart on both on them. Here's one together, and then has some other parts, but it just, the other thing here is, even where it was supposed to be, you know, it didn't move well with, you know, even with the coupler pocket or anything. It didn't move at all, really. So so I went back to the ones that I've 3D printed a bunch of. These are standard across all of my rolling stock now. They work well, but they work very well. Wheels spin well. They look nice. You know, otherwise I would buy other cheap ones like Tishi train group ones. But so I went with these. I'm having trouble with this one because when I put this one, when I drilled this one, the drill got off center, and so it's caused nothing but problems. So I'm probably going to tear this piece off, and I'm probably going to try and recreate it and print it, so that I have one in it, and then I can have a pre-made hole in there and make sure that all I need to do is thread the hole. So so that's next, because and then I need some longer screws, because I generally get this is too thin for these trucks. These go right through the holes in these trucks. So I generally get, I think, 1/4 inch, but I need longer ones for these. And then the other thing I might do is I might pull these coupler pockets off that are made, because they're solid, and I put some graphite in them. They're moving better. They were very tight on them, so I might modify that a little bit as well. Then the other thing that I did was, this was all in color, so I painted this the other night. So this is just Vallejo primer, black primer. I didn't find a need to paint it another color. The primer looks nice. I dull coated it too. It has a little bit of a shine off the light. I could put another dull coat on it if I need to, or just weather it down a little bit maybe. but it looks fine there, and gives it some contrast because it was the same color as the body. It was that color. And then the other part that I did was got this end done. There's a vestibule with the, I forget what you call these because it's blanking in my mind, a door in there that I couldn't get to sit straight, so you won't see it much, but I have it as open on there. But essentially, when this is all in place correctly, it's a little bit of a tight fit because these sides are bent. So now I think that looks better with the painted roof. And then see, there we go. So this one moves along. It is moving along. I'll have to get some lettering so that I can letter it and number it. Again, it's going to be named after my grandfather. It'll be the Norman Fisher, and it'll be a private car that'll be on the back end of an Amtrak train on my layout. I do want it. These windows are pretty big, so it would be nice to put lighting in there, and then some kind of interior. I don't want it to all be seating because it's a private car, so I want it maybe put a lounge together in there or something, toilet, that sort of thing. That would be the hope at some point to be able to do that. But let's just see if we can get this thing together with these stupid directions. I am impressed with all the parts, though. It has a lot of detail parts, which is really nice. And you can get, there's more details than are on here. I haven't done any of the roof vents or anything like that. I still have to do that. I have to find some pictures of the roof vents because they don't really show anything here, and they don't really give you any guidance on that, other than look at prototype pictures. When I go out to Railroad Picture Archives, every roof seems like just that roof. It doesn't seem like there are any vents on them or anything like that. So I may have to just make it up if I want stuff on the roof. So what is everybody else working on? Those were the things that I've been working on, was because that day job I got seems to keep getting in the way of my model railroading. So I don't get as much done as I would like. I haven't seen Split Rock in tonight. I was talking to him because what I find that's causing me to not get as much done as I would like towards the AP. So I want to start making sure I'm working on multiple things. Like I said, I'm having trouble getting myself back to finishing up that cab car. I've never gotten back to the New Brunswick station. It's still in its original second form, so just the shell of that. So I talked to him I asked him what I was going to need for the civil certificate, and he talked about building the track, scratch building the track and stuff, and the pieces I'll need to scratch build like a crossover and those sorts of things. And he offered his help. He has both tools and supplies, so I have to make some time to work with him on that. But I just don't want to be, I don't want to sit here and keep working on this and not be working on other stuff when I'm not, when there's not a step for me to take on this, for instance. Or, if the main body of this is probably about 8 hours to print. So while that's sitting there printing, I'm not doing anything else with it. So I want to be able to kind of multitask with this. Because I don't. So on the. I will not let him know you said that, Ray. He does get a big head sometimes. So we'll need to keep it deflated. But he is very good. He shares, he offers, and he's offered me numerous times to come to visit his layout, to operate on his layout, and I haven't taken advantage of that, or and that's on me for not doing that, because he certainly offered. And he really cares about the division, and he's trying to drive interest and keep people coming back for more and stuff. So certainly a fan of his as well, and look forward to him teaching me what to do and everything. But I've got to get the dates locked down with him, and that's on me to do. I've got, the next 2 weeks I'll be in my office. I'm getting those out of the way, so I don't have to go in for stints for the rest of the year, because I'm not into the driving in bad weather kind of thing anymore. I'm getting to be an old fuddy-duddy. I don't think it's bad social skills, Gopher Girl. I think for me, I always feel like I'm imposing on somebody. And so I always want them to tell me like their availability instead of me saying, hey, let's do it this time. Because I always think I'm imposing on people. But that's my own problem, not other people's. Granted, I haven't been to the picnics in 2 years that we've had with the division. But with the division, I want to do stuff that, and I mentioned this last stream, I want to do stuff that is model railroad related. So like my favorite events are clinics and doing. So skills days are my absolute favorite event that we put on, where we pick 3, if you could call it skills, or 3 things. And basically we have a moderator at each table, but it's driven by anybody who has experience. So for instance, we had foliage and tree items donated. So there was a clinic on putting together trees, but everybody contributed, and everybody stood around and made trees and made a gigantic mess. We had one table at one point on decals, and you could go over at any time and sit down, and there was somebody there who generally had a good grasp on how to decal things, but everybody contributed that could contribute. We've done a couple with weathering. We had somebody helping folks with tuning their DCC on their locomotives at one point. So those are the kind of things I like. kind of sitting there building stuff and doing stuff. So those are my favorite. And we have a member who donates the space, and it's a big warehouse space in St. Paul, Minnesota. And it's just, it's just a fun time. So hopefully we have lots more of those, but those are the things I like to attend to. Are you filming are you filming what you make, Nathan, or are you just at this point just making them and getting your layout up to date? So one of the things, I was talking about how what I really liked about StreamYard is its ease of use, but didn't like that they were limiting more and more what you could do with the free plan. I'm starting to get used to Streamlabs, which is based on OBS, which I thought had a big learning curve, but so does Streamlabs. The other one I still want to try is also based on OBS, is called Prism Live. So I may try that at some point. We'll see how this one keeps going. But I'm not used to like a simple thing like sharing the screen and pulling something up on on the internet and then sharing it. I still haven't gotten all that down because I wanted to share let's see here if I can even find what I'm looking for. Let's see. Let's do. I looked at the business cars, what this is. I didn't look at private owner cars, pictures of private owner cars, but I should, just to see how they look, and see if there's anything. See if there's anything in there. It looks mostly like these are private owners, like business owned cars, more than private owned cars. Private citizen, I should say. Yeah, these all look like private cars. But what I did is I actually went to Fallen Flags because I knew that Pennsylvania Railroad had these cars, because this is, I think, what the kit was based on. That's PRR. And then went to business car, and they had a few photos. They had some older ones and some newer ones, but see if I can find you on what I was talking about with the roofs on here. Ooh, something messed up there. Let's see. So yeah, that's awesome, Nathan. Did you see any of the business cars like the one I'm building? Did they have any kind of preserved or anything? So, I suppose I could also look at some other lines as well to see if they have anything. I wonder if like Penn Central or something has a business card type. Let's see. Oh, they do have a couple. So let me see if I can do this. I don't know if it's easy to just somehow, let's see if I can get a capture of a specific window. Source. Let's see. Oh, I guess here, let's do this. Let's see what we can do. So do that. So okay, so this is what I was talking about, like all of these that I've seen so far, and this one is Penn Central. There's nothing that I can see on the roof, so there's nothing to go off of. So I'll keep searching to see if there's anything. Otherwise, there's just gonna be a bunch of widgets and things that I'll just put up on the roof there. So I mean they gave a lot of stuff. I mean, you know, some of this stuff doesn't go up there. Oh, the other thing that they did, which is really cool, is they gave a jig for grab irons. All kinds of different ones. So we'll have to work with those, and I'll hold on to that jig because if those are the right size for, you know, for these guys, I'm still gonna have to put grab irons on somewhere. I think there was a grab iron on this side while the ladder was on that side, for instance. So that'll be good to have for the future too. But it has all these other little, what they call vent details, and so we'll have to figure out kind of where those go. They have those as well. So roof 27, 28 are these are all roof vents. And then these are roof extensions, but I don't know where a roof extension would go, because where would you put a roof extension? Then, and I don't think the directions just say, you know, and they talk about different generations of cars, and I really haven't seen specifically any directions on the grab irons. So I'm gonna have to refer to pictures again. Where are you? So again, so picking up something like this, you have some grab irons here and here, so I'll have to pick a car and put the grab irons together like that, and you know, do something like that. So much more to do on this, but I do want to get moving on other things too. And I kind of want to force myself into... Oh, hey, James, welcome in. Nice to have you in here. Nice to see you. I see you every once in a while. Come pop in and enjoy your live streams quite a bit. I'm, you know, you have all those Go Transit cars, and you have the bi-levels and stuff, and I'm working on basically the same manufactured cars, but not the bi-levels. We're dating my stuff back to the late 80s, early 90s, when I used to take the train in New York City all the time. That was my era, so that's what I'm working on. But I love seeing your stuff and watching you work through all your issues with your trains. And I'm pretty far from you guys, from most of you guys that are streaming up there, but I'm in Minnesota, which I consider southern Canada anyway. So yeah, I remember you talking about the one switch that your cars go over that was giving you trouble. But I definitely like hearing how things are going and seeing your videos as well. So yeah. So checking in to see what everybody else is working on. Ray, any new around the layouts to highlight or let us know that's coming? I know you took a break and now you're back into the groove of things. Yeah. I mean, who else are you going to blame anyway? Nobody else is working on your layout but you. Nathan, I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up in North Brunswick, New Jersey, so central New Jersey. My mom now lives near where my aunt has lived for years, right over the border from Philadelphia. So they're in the South Jersey area. I'll actually be out there in August. So I'll be looking for model railroad things to do when we're out there. And I've got a great mom, a mom who actually likes to do model railroad stuff. Faulkner Station, welcome in. Uh-oh, an engager. How are you tonight? Awesome, no issues. So yeah, I showed it on a live stream a while ago. I printed early on when I got my Bamboo Labs A1 printer, and I was new to it, and I'm still new to it. I printed out somebody's version of a bi-level Go Transit car, and it was it actually looked like one. It was rough to put together. It came out pretty rough because I was new at it, but but it was cool to print out, and I certainly could try that again and have a bunch. So yeah, it's gonna be mid-August, Nathan. Gopher Girl's gonna have the house to herself, well, with the dogs. I'm sure she's pretty happy about that. But going out to hang out with my mom. Well, I appreciate you popping in, Faulkner. I I try to get to watch the streams out in the UK and Australia whenever I can, and I enjoy those very much. I enjoy learning from everybody, so I actually have to, you know, check some more of that out. And so feel free to pop in. And yeah, I know, James, everybody seems to be retired. I would like to get there. I don't think I ever will, but I would like to get there. I'd like to be the light at the end of my tunnel. There is retirement. So let's see here. Let me see. So I will have to check out, Daz, I'll have to check out your stuff. I don't think I've checked out your stuff. You got quite a bit on there. I haven't gotten used to the shorts thing. I'm doing shorts. I've done a few shorts. Looks like you've done quite a few. So let's do this. So this is, what the heck? As I tried to, let me see if I can put this in here. Here's Faulkner's, here's Daz's channel. So check him out. It's quite a bit of stuff on his channel there. So there it is on the screen. So anyway, so he's got lots of, like I said, he's got lots of shorts on here to check out as well. I think, you know, me personally, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be the grumpy old guy, but say that, you know, shorts for me in model railroading aren't as fun, because I just always want to see more. And I don't love it when people do shorts to get you to go to their channel and subscribe and those sorts of things. And I get it, that's part of it, but I don't need to be reminded of that. So I don't love shorts. I've tried to do some myself, but I need my social media manager to do that kind of stuff. And I don't think I've ever put this up. This is here are you. This is James's channel, so check him out as well. I like his stuff. Every week does a live stream. Enjoy that as well. So Nathan, it all began back at the beginning of the pandemic, when I used it more of a selfish thing. I used it to keep me honest, and by having to put out videos and updates and things, and by doing the live streams when I got into those, was about making sure I stayed on target and was getting things done, because I have a tendency to jump from thing to thing and not stick with stuff with projects like this. So this was about making sure I did that, and stick with stuff. And you're all making me do that, and I appreciate it, but that's how I got into it. I haven't done a video in a while. I think what a lot of people will tell you is it takes a lot of, if you want something presentable, I would say it takes a lot of hours, especially if you're somebody who doesn't think that they have the on-camera personality, that sort of thing, and a personality that connects with people. I do connect with people. I have a following, but I've never thought myself that entertaining, that sort of thing. So I've wanted to always have as polished as I know how to polish the videos. We have some people that are very good on camera, very good with their just storytelling and filmmaking, that they can just go and record a live thing and go right through it, and it all comes out great. Not me. I have to do a lot of editing. So I was spending for 5 to 8 minutes of video, I was probably spending 8 to 10 hours. And that's a lot of time, especially when you're a working stiff like me. And so going to the live format really made me feel like I always had to have something to discuss, and I always had to have progress. I said to myself, people aren't going to keep watching if I don't make progress on my projects. They're not going to be interested if I don't have something to talk about. And I am back to editing some audio. I proposed to Split Rock to do some segments on the Crossing Gate podcast, and he's interested, but we don't know what form that looks like. So I am putting together a short 7 or 8 minute segment, audio segment, to discuss in a very basic form getting into 3D printing for model railroading, and it'll be really, really basic, and it's just a teaser to get people to want to talk about it. And so I've already, recording it to record 7 minutes of audio. It took about 2 to 3 hours to do that. After the writing it up took another little bit of time, and I haven't even edited the audio to make it presentable yet. So that's going to be more time. But if I can get back into that, I'll do more videos, because I want to do some things that will entice people to also try stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, Nathan, you've seen me a couple times in videos and stuff, and you've seen my picture now and a thumbnail, and I was working with seeing if I could get multiple cameras with my iPhone and everything at one point, so I had it on me. It's funny because it depends on the audience. At work, for years, I've trained people. I get new people in every year. I have a seasonal business that I'm in, and we get in, for my group, we get in 35 to 50 new people for a season. And I talk to them. Before the pandemic, we were in a room together, and I was standing up there presenting with no problem. It really depends on the audience. To be honest, I feel inferior next to other people in the hobby. I still feel like I'm in the learning phase. There are things that I'm better at than I was when I started, and I'm feeling okay to share those things. But I generally share them in a more neutralized environment. So like those skills days that I was talking about, with us all sitting around the table and throwing things out to help people. And if somebody asks me a question, I'm certainly going to try to answer it. And I enjoy doing that and everything. But it's all psychological anyway, and it's really being able to get over myself is what it is. But yeah, it's I've come a long way. I've asked Gopher Girl to be my social media manager so that there's more content out there. She has a little bit more time than I do, so she can jump in and she can pull segments and create shorts out of them, and she can have constant feeds going out, constant media going out, where it's hit or miss for me. Other than this weekly live stream, it's hit or miss for me. So, yeah. Hint, hint. Gopher Girl. So, well, I want to thank everybody for coming in and hanging out tonight and having a very active and lively chat. For I'm happy that some of the older faces came in, some of the newer faces came in to see us tonight, and I really appreciate it. And want to say, just make sure you just jump in and try something. You never know, you may actually end up liking or loving something, and may it bring enjoyment to your life. And everybody have a fantastic rest of your weekend and into the new week. So have a good night, everybody.